Hey folks, welcome to the lab. Now, it's summer, so Champ Car is going to be racing through Canada all summer long. You've seen the cars before. What you might not have seen is the trucks they come in. It's the hub of every team with an exclusive guided tour. Here's Andrew Ranger's team manager, Chris Mauer.
This is the truck that we use to transport the cars and equipment across North America and Mexico when we go to the races in the Champ Car World Series. The cars go in the top here, the cars and the engines. We always carry 2 spare engines per car. And then the inside is full up with all the equipment and things that we need to rebuild the cars at the racetrack. This cupboard is full up with the uprights and drive shafts. These are all freshly rebuilt, ready to go on the car. Over here we have our sub-assembly area. Obviously the working is quite confined in the trailer itself. MyJet Conquest Racing has roughly 30 employees that we take all the way to the races. In between sessions is when the truck is at its most active, especially if you've had an accident. All of the brakes that we run throughout the weekend are already pre-bedded on a dyno. That saves engine mileage and also saves time. Up here we have the engineering office. This is where we do the driver debriefs. It's where the engineers are continuously trying to make the cars go faster over the race weekend. The car is always putting out telemetry. So it's basically sending a signal from the car to the pit stand. At the end of the session, the junior engineer will go with his computer, download all of that data, bring it back here. The driver and the engineer all have that data available to them. They bring up the software program, which is made by PI Research. Through that session that they just did, they can see exactly what the car is doing at any given time on any given lap. As far as the mechanics are concerned, one of the most important parts of the truck is the espresso machine. That keeps them going, especially on late nights when they're rebuilding the car.
Hey friends, and welcome to another edition of The Lab. It is still Champ Car season, which means that some of the coolest cars around will be driving Canadian streets this summer. But to really appreciate them, you have to get up close. Here is Andrew Ranger's team manager, Chris Mauer.
This is Andrew Ranger's ride. The car itself weighs about 1,550 pounds with the driver. It'll produce about 5,000 pounds of downforce. That's in addition to what the car weighs already. The engine, it's made by Ford Cosworth. It's a very reliable V8. It's got a single turbocharger. It'll produce about 800 horsepower in its current state. Here, underneath this, is where the pop-off valve would normally go. Now what this does is when the boost pressure gets up to a certain amount, that pops off so that it doesn't allow any more pressure to be accumulating in the plenum chamber. If it weren't for that pop-off valve, the engine would produce probably up to around 1,200 horsepower. It's got a PI data acquisition system in the car that's controlling around 140 sensors all throughout the car. During the session, whenever the car is out on the track, it's sending the readings from all of those sensors via telemetry to the pit stand in the pits, which is then hooked into the junior engineer's computer. All of that's being accumulated in his computer. Then when the car stops, he'll actually hardwire his computer into the car. That will download the complete data set. And then when they come back to the engineering office, they can have a look to see exactly what the car was doing on any given lap at any given time of that lap. They can go through an entire race, monitoring and storing everything that you possibly need. The junior engineers and the drivers can go through all of the data, analyze exactly what happened during that session or that race, and try and make the car better next time.